mulai merindu. Ku bayangkan jika kamu tidur di sampingku di malam yang semu. Pejamkan mata.
That was an amazing opening for our S15 Grand Finals. You just saw Team Liquid Philippines and ONIC Philippines face off at the Champions Arena stage. Everyone's having the time of their lives. The Champions Arena is insane as we head on to a best of 7 to determine who will become immortal.
I got goosebumps just by seeing these two teams alongside our other MSC, our other representatives for the upcoming EWC. And this is just the strength of our region finally showing itself in the Champions Arena. But this is the ultimate test of strength for this season as well, Ingan. We are about to witness in a few moments the first game of this best of 7 series. And I cannot wait.
And of course, all the way from topping the regular season to crawling back to the lower bracket, we have Team Liquid Philippines, Sanford at the XP lane, Carl TZ at the jungle, Sanji in the mid lane, JP at the roam, OEP at the gold lane, and after getting swept by ONIC Philippines in our upper bracket finals, we saw them how they regrouped up against a familiar foe, a familiar titan in Team Falcons. They had better drafts. We saw their versatility from regular season having a much more limited hero pool to now even Carl TZ flexing out the Fredrin and Alpha, and we're seeing a lot of this and that even from Sanford with the glues, the Hildas, and even the Philippines, not to mention the Terizlas.
There are so much things that were introduced to us by Team Liquid Philippines, and I agree. Their reset seems like it happened so fast, it was overnight. And ONIC Philippines, they did take their time. Throughout the season, they haven't had that much of a perfect record. Their performance did not reflect much of what we saw from them, especially back in M6. But after they were able to finally find their groove, they barely let go of that once more. And that's something they found heading into the playoffs and something they never let go up until this very point, which allowed them to take that one-day break yesterday because they were able to win the upper bracket finals, as you've mentioned, against Team Liquid Philippines through a sweep. So that is a very dominant performance that you have to take into account if you are Team Liquid Philippines, regardless of how much you've been able to reset. And again, of course, the overall stats that you have to look at for both of these teams. Team Liquid Philippines, yes, you did mention they're starting to show a little bit more in terms of their flexibility, but it's mostly in terms of going back to what used to work for them. It's by reintroducing some of the most common, some of the most familiar duos, some of the most familiar lineups and heroes and combos. But for ONIC Philippines, they're a team who definitely goes way beyond that.
Yeah, way beyond. Speaking of way beyond, one of the players you actually want to look at is even Brusco.
Yeah.
Imagine rocking the Badang for 3 consecutive games in his very first matchup, then showing off his show, even stopping TLPH from actually winning because of a 3-man Jeet Kune Do, to signaling or finishing off their final match with an Angela. Imagine the versatility of the Bruiser, and that's what's scary about ONIC Philippines, is that in a 7-game series, it's not just about what you can dish out, it's all about what you have in store for your opponents.
And I mean, even Coach Wynot, he himself did say that there wouldn't be this entire golden goat if it weren't for Brusco, if Brusco wasn't there. So you know how big of a piece Brusco was in terms of putting all of this together, in terms of just enabling Kelra to do his thing. And that's another interesting thing we could also probably talk about or look at when it comes to Team Liquid Philippines, because I feel like JP has been, if not the most versatile player so far in the playoffs, showing us so many roamers as well. I did you did mention Brusco. He did introduce the Angela, and I like how he did at almost a perfect timing. But you could say the same for JP. I feel like there's so much more that we can still see from this player of Team Liquid Philippines and how well they're able to mesh everything up. Like all their plans. What else could they have possibly for us in this finals?
Yes, they have to put it all out because it's the final game of the season, the grand finals, the best of 7. A lot at stake for JP Carl TZ to reach their fourth MPL championship, for ONIC Philippines to be able to go back-to-back. So these decorated players want to add another trophy to their trophy case.
And actually, haven't we mentioned something earlier while we were trying to, or while we were still preparing for the finals, about JP and all his finals appearances whenever it's up against ONIC?
Yeah, Renmar mentioned this, S4, S5, they were able to beat ONIC Philippines in the grand final. So let's see if the story will stay the same. Will JP again defeat ONIC Philippines? But let's head over to our Smart Ping test.
Hello guys, welcome to the grand finals. Napuno ba? Puno ba ang venue, Kirk? Shout sa inyong lahat guys. Thank you so much sa pagpunta at pagsuporta sa both teams. Thank you for the effort guys. Effort and time and love. Well, Professor, what to do? Guys, pinapapili kayo ni Kirk. Marry, kiss, or kill. I love you all. Kirk, sino yung pusong ligaw mo? Ikaw pa rin. Grabe, Team Liquid tsaka ONIC, punong-puno.
Pre, enjoy nyo lang laro. Ayaan yung laro yung, yung mag-flow sa atin naturally. Okay? Ikaw, JP, mag-ingat ka lagi pag kay Brusco, kasi kailangan respetuhin yung mga yan. So, wag natin i-let down. Okay?
Agaw sa batang.
Hindi na maulit yung agaw ni Ogwen. Ikaw, mid lane, wag ka Prince. Ka Prince. Prince lane na tawag ko dun Prince lane mo nga yung mid. Yun. Sige, gold lane, wag ka papasolok. Pre, tignan nyo na lang mga mukha ng mga fans natin. Pre, tignan mo mga pagod-pagod dyan, pre. Isipin mo, pipili na haba. Sabay, papatalo lang natin, di ba?
The young GOAT Carl TZ wants to offer this matchup to his fans, and of course, King Kong. You know, the Sigma. Just showing off that he doesn't care about what matchup it is. He doesn't care about the atmosphere. He has it in him to win this game and be the third team to have a back-to-back championship.
Yeah, and that's a smart ping test for this game. And ultimately, we've been discussing a wide variety of Infinix keys to victory, but now that we're down to the final matchup of Season 15, there is only one that both of these teams who've made it this far have to show us. Ilabas ang lakas ng Pinas. Directly translated,
show the strength of the Philippines. Many regarded as the strongest region. Not to mention won the last 5 World Championships. And now they are put to the test against each other. These two teams, again, S13 champions, Team Liquid Philippines, and S14 champions, ONIC Philippines. M4 World Champions versus M6 World Champions. A heated rivalry, and it's just getting started.
From all the way, M4 to M6, they meet once again after having to regroup and revisit what's been going wrong, especially for the cavalry. I feel like even internationally, a lot are excited to see them again.
Yeah, and not to mention, this might indirectly or directly answer the GOAT debate that has been in discussions online, not just in the Philippines, but all around the world. The young GOAT versus the golden GOAT, the man with the most monikers, Kelra, and Carl TZ. This finals matchup will determine who is actually better than great. Oh, that was called back.
It was. And this is Kelra. We've been mentioning all the titles he already has under his belt. Be it the MPL Philippines Championship Finals MVP title, the MSC Championship Finals MVP title, the M-Series Championship and Finals MVP title. He has almost all of that already.
Oh, why are you voting for ONIC? Because I'm about to flex Carl TZ now. Who could forget the S6 Finals MVP with Bren, M2 MVP, the S12 regular season MVP, a Hall of Fame inductee 3-time MPL champion and 2-time M Series champion.
That's a lot to list down.
That's a whole lot of papers.
We'll need a couple of sheets of paper for us to be able to write all of those things down. But yeah, this is definitely a chance for these teams to cement.
Yeah, and apart from that, you know, Keller is not even just going up against Carl Tizzi, he's going up against a familiar foe. One of his hated rivals all the way back to Season 7. No other than the Filipino sniper, Oheb, up against the Filipino savage, Keller. And as we look at the player head-to-head stats, Bree.
Yep. A bunch of these are actually in favor of Oheb if you would look at their player head-to-head. And this is something that you would have to probably take into account, especially for based on the way Team Liquid Philippines is actually playing their games overall. Even just yesterday, I would recall, I'm sure you would recall, how it did feel like regardless of what kind of roamer JP does use, there is always this extra assistance that's provided to Oheb. There is always this attempt to just allow Oheb to either max out the energy shields, just do the double laning early on, and this is something you would say that could possibly be a very gold-centric playstyle that's coming in from Team Liquid Philippines. But on the other hand, this is Kellera, who can pretty much do so many things all by himself.
Yeah, we witnessed a lot of amazing plays from Kellera. I know for sure my throat actually suffered a lot from these amazing plays from the Filipino savage himself. But apart from that, of course, the people, or the players that control also the tempo of the game. We have the two junglers, the young GOAT in Carl Tizzi and the Sigma himself, King Kong.
And I know we've been wanting to see so much of the old Carl Tizzi and the Lancelot. But that's something they're yet to show us if ever they are planning to, especially heading into the Grand Finals. We've seen more of it from King Kong, and it's honestly already been 2 games where he's decided to use this hero. So if it's just that, yes, Carl Tizzi and King Kong, they're both players with a very respectable hero pool. And that is something that'll probably be a little tricky whenever we head into the draft later on.
Yeah, for Carl Tizzi again, he just had his 2,000 kills achieved. I believe it was in day 2 or 3. Something like that. And apart from that, one of the highest damage dealt and highest damage received. So it shows his versatility as a jungler. Not to mention King Kong. The whole story of the latter half of 2024 was and even the first parts of 2025 was how amazing and how fast he is when it comes to his farming. Even beat his record established at 9 minutes for level 15 jungler. What's the record again in, I believe it was in SPS, around 8 minutes or something seconds. He has to put it out again up against the young GOAT, Carl Tizzi.
This is why so many adjustments have been taking place, right?
Yeah, it's because of these guys.
It's because of these guys. It's because of this guy, especially based on the past few months and the way he's been playing the jungler role, the rotations that he's been doing here and there. But this is another heated lane matchup, you know? Like, this is something we've been observing all season long. Yesterday, all the more if you're a fan of the Cavalry, Sanji and his Farsa. There were just some insane plays that came in from this guy yesterday. But in terms of consistency, you must have to give it to Super Prince as well.
Yeah, consistently in ONIC Philippines, one of the longest players there since Season 10. Remember his interview that he was fortunate enough that the organization did not give up on him. He was a pure cornerstone for their organization. And not to mention the way he controls and changes the games. People even started to say that you can get a lot of crazy builds from Super Prince. Remember the Farsa with the rapid boots, the turbo Farsa, so we can expect a lot. But apart from that, Sanji also, the Lone Stallion. Is it just me, or me and Leo talked about how when it comes to Sanji, he always finds himself alone in crucial situations in high-stakes games. We witnessed that yesterday. Even in Season 13, we witnessed that when Sanji was the last man to push. And even in S12, when they got dropped by Blacklist, he was the last, then Orca remaining. So the Lone Stallion is up against the monster mage himself. Who has the better micro between the two mid laners?
Yeah, even just yesterday, you gotta check it out for yourselves if you haven't. The way that on the Lu Yi, he just decided to use the diversion to
Push.
go to the like the
Top lane.
plays first. Like that one too. Like there have been so many plays coming in from this player that you could actually build a highlight reel already from him, even just in the playoffs. But these are two players we've been discussing as well earlier. It's the roamers of this matchup who pretty much introduced so many picks already, especially if we're talking about Daddy JP.
Yeah, Daddy JP, 3-time champion, 1-time M Series champion, started all the way in Season 2 with Archangels, 1-2 with Sunsparks up against ONIC Philippines. So in terms of championship matchups, JP versus ONIC Philippines, it's JP all the way. He hasn't lost a single finals appearance with this organization.
JP might actually want to keep that record.
Yeah, he wants to keep it clean.
I feel like he doesn't realize that he actually has that record.
Yeah.
But if he does.
Was it Renmar who... I think it was Renmar who told him
Yeah, oh,
that,
I think
did you know that you haven't lost a single finals matchup against ONIC Philippines? And JP
Yeah.
was like, oh really?
Yeah, and it was Perks who reminded them that, yeah, you never lost against ONIC Philippines. So that's something he probably is already aware about right now.
Yeah. And for the side of ONIC Philippines again, Brusco, who could forget one of the most crucial plays that he had up against TLPH in the upper bracket finals. With a final attempt from the Cavalry, a conceal, they charged in but got stopped in their tracks by Brusco's Cho. Wanjit Kundu turned things around to their favor, stunned 3, and was able to wipe out or at least get 4 kills and win the game with a sweep for ONIC Philippines. But with TLPH having the luxury of getting the first pick side priority, they go with their higher win rate side. They go with red side.
Okay. So we'll be seeing Team Liquid Philippines in the red side for game number 1. And this is gonna be a very favorable situation if you're Team Liquid Philippines. But that still doesn't stop ONIC Philippines from pulling off some of the most interesting drafts we could possibly see from them later on, especially considering that throughout the past few games, like, they've been brave enough to try a couple of things too. Even for Kellera, like they've been consistent on this entire Jushin 1-1 setup.
Yeah.
They even tried out the Clint ones, and the one time he used the Earthel, it was able to perform so well.
Yeah, so well, and they need all of that to be able to go up against a force like Team Liquid Philippines. And for Team Liquid Philippines, we can't forget about the performances of the XP laners. I was thinking about Sanford, but also Kirk also performed with the glue. That was phenomenal. I believe it was a spotless KDA 0 deaths, but a high kill participation. So a glue might be a priority for both of these XP laners. But as we head on to the drafting phase of our game number 1 in the MPL Philippines Season 15 Grand Finals, the Champions Arena erupting, as today we will witness who will raise the Immortal Cup. Is it the defending champions ONIC, or is it gonna be Team Liquid Philippines? As we head on to the drafting phase, let's call in Slick Thick himself, Renmar Santa Cruz. Where are you at?
I feel like if you say that, enough people are actually going to believe that I've changed my name to Slick Thick. Hi everyone, still Renmar here. This is a major development for the draft, as this is only the second time this entire playoffs that ONIC Philippines has actually drafted on the blue side. So with Team Liquid Philippines picking red, that's strategic. Not only to say that, hey, this is our preferred side, but to put ONIC literally in an uncomfortable position. Again, only the second time ONIC has drafted blue.
Yeah, although the one time that they were actually, I feel, forced out of it, it was a great draft coming from them too. I think, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't at the time they were actually able to bring out the Lancelot as well? We'll be double checking that later on. But
I remember that when they drafted blue side, it was actually against Team Liquid, game number 3. That's when they surprised us with bringing out the Angela Bach shot together.
Oh, that too. So there are just so many possibilities that we can expect, even if ONIC Philippines are actually drafting here in the blue side. But right now, looking at the bans so far, I feel like the joy may still be open as well. The Jushin is out there too, and Super Prince, by the way, used the Jushin already 7 times throughout the playoffs.
Okay, weirdly enough, ONIC Philippines can do a massive swerve in this draft and pick up something like a Granger as the Joy's gone for the first pick, but usually it's a Jushin or Loyi here. More often than not, once we go to the red side, first 2 picks, Team Liquid actually has picked an OHEB pick for the first 2 picks red side 9 times already in this playoffs. Most of the time, it's the Granger and/or Harith. So with the Jushin locked in by ONIC, Granger plus a Sanford pick might be the go here for Team Liquid.
Let's see, Granger available here for the Filipino sniper himself. He talked about the glue that has been popping off for Sanford and even for Kirk, but there you have it. Like what SlickTech mentioned, second pick red side for Team Liquid Philippines will be OHEB.
Yeah. So they're pairing it up with the Baksha, which is gonna be somewhat of a flex still if your Team Liquid Philippines. JP used it twice as well, but that's the thing. I feel like it's only been JP who's been using the Baksha in Team Liquid Philippines so far.
Yeah, I think that's already a tell that most likely this is going to be going to the Rome. As for the EXP for Sanford, they want him something with a bit more high impact. Let's see if any of these 2 teams are going to surprise and suddenly pick up a glue much earlier than it usually does appear in drafts. Both junglers still not picked. We might go into the second phase with one team not picking up a jungler just yet. But that's still open for ONIC Philippines if they want to go down that route. Usually seen in the first side. But as we posed the possibility, they brought it up, a glue right away for ONIC, and they pick up an Aerithel as an instant response to the Granger in lane.
Oh, you know, the last time glue was picked up by Kirk, it was a near perfect KDA. It was hard to kill him, but he was always present during the clashes. And I just noticed now that ONIC Philippines banned out the Lucas, so the question remains, is King Kong in the grand finals ready to use the Lucas at the jungler later on?
They banned it out too, I feel. So could Carl TZ be considering the Hayabusa at this point? Or does, I feel like the ONIC Philippines have set up so well if ever there is a Hayabusa coming out in this slot. Like the Glue and the Irisel and the Jushin already, these 3 picks might be okay with this. So they switch things up and pick up the Mathilda instead.
All right. Despite them usually putting the Baksha in the hands of JP, they pick up the Mathilda in the roam. Then okay, so it's still tough to see where this Baksha is going. There is a possibility that it might suddenly swerve and go into the jungle. Let's see if ONIC will suddenly ban out an Alpha, because we saw Team Liquid Philippines bring out that combination earlier this playoffs.
I feel like it's gonna work well considering that ONIC Philippines 2 are yet to actually reveal much of their tanky or their other frontline heroes.
I think considering that they're up against a Jushin in the center of the map, and then there is a Matilda roam there, they might be encouraged to actually just put this Baksha in the jungle instead, so that you have a very safe river. With the Ling ban, they want the Farsa as an option.
The Farsa Mathilda too. That could be a huge pickup here if your Team Liquid Philippines. Will ONIC Philippines actually let that through? They ban out the Lui instead. So this feels like one of the best spots to bring out the Farsa, so they can save much of what they're planning to show us for this draft.
I am leaning towards the Farsa pickup here for Team Liquid, unless they really save the mid lane pick later and pick up show Sanford and already show where the Baksha is going to be going. This is what Team Liquid Philippines needs. Trizla might not be the answer, but it could be. If they want mobility, maybe they put Sanford in market. The problem, you don't see the jungler from the side of ONIC, and still has the capability to go. Hey, let's just Fred here.
Yeah. Oh wait.
Because they can go Fred, Baksha, Granger, Matilda all together.
Oh yeah. So they just reveal the Farsa instead.
Yep.
Sanford will have plenty of time to consider whatever his endgame is gonna be later on. There are a couple of months still left there. The Philippines from Kong is willing to play into this draft. Team Liquid Philippines have been banning out most of the assassins already, and them leaving out the Lancelot. It feels like they also have a way to answer back.
It feels like a choice if they're going here. And then this can pick off that first team needs to go full tanky, bring in a Fred, put an option in the EXP lane, so that could be a little bit more for the better deal. You're gonna kick other than Matilda and you act them. They go Joe, and then you go for the Lancelot. If I'm Liquid, you pick Fredrin now or something handy.
Yep. We got one. King Kong as Sanford picks up the Phobius. draft the first game of the grand final set in stone. Who's going to draw the first blood on Philippines, defending champions, up against the top-seeded team, Team Liquid Philippines. It's a best of 7 series here in the Arena.
This is gonna be such a test for ONIC Philippines and for Team Liquid Philippines as well. The draft index, it's not that far for both of these teams, and the Phobius feels like it's just gonna have such time that both the lot and the Cho. Plus additional ability that can be provided by EPL, and that's not just onto the Phobius but onto the other members of Team Philippines.
Now it's for our Game 1 Grand Finals.
Thank you so much to the panel. It's me, Leo, and I bring you the action. It's a best of 7 for the grand final.
I love that Lancelot for the first time in the playoffs, something we foresaw. Yeah. Finally, seems like it's been a while since we've seen him powerfully, but now we're encouraged to bring it out. ONIC, typical play, especially with Jusin and the Cho at the center. The Lancelot pickup from ONIC actually off from the idea of picking up a Purify, so that's Lancelot really need the Purify to avoid him.
I'm wondering if this is going to be a difficult one for King Kong specifically, you know, against this kind of composition that TLPH brought to Game 1, because there seems like it's utility overload, but then also so much tankiness to deal with.
Yeah, with all of that, Kelra, okay, it's actually for the Warrior boots. First, King Kong actually undefeated on this Lancelot, so let's see what happens here. In the past, it looked like the Lancelot pick wouldn't work, but it's working twice. Early moments in the game,
Okay, so now as we look at this, you know, most of these games that we've seen in the playoffs have been quite frantic, you know, in the early game. In this kind of endurance test of 7, just we saw, for example, you really want to go ahead and game out a game with compositions. Game plans, do they change? Like, are they that different, the compositions, Renmar?
It's not going to be quite the same. King Kong. Sanford pulled in by JP. Both teams continue to fight with the turns. Yeah, let's see if he'll have Turtle currently quarters. Here we go. Carl Teasy coming through. Better back line. A lot of damage. Sanji down. And goes Snell. Get the board. Sanford jump on. Out there. He falls. One.
The gold lane just to make sure that Philippines was going to be able to win.
Unexpected, incredibly well timed gold lane. Carl Teasy still wants to fight for it. And underneath King Kong with execution. Liquid's going to pay for this hard. Carl Teasy running away. Desperation. King Kong takes down the young goat. He couldn't use the guiding wind. Goes in. The Bruiser gets a kick in. And he's trying to take down Sanji. Wings by wings out. Close call. King Kong got 40 on him. Apex Predator.
Well, I'm going to accept. Well, this happens to me too.
That's how you set the bargain fast. Not willing to give up an unfavorable trade as much as possible. Both teams looking for win through kill. Sanford getting the kill there onto King Kong. Massive for Team Liquid, because if he didn't get that, they would have lost that entire sequence 100%.
This is interesting here in the matchup. You know, Grader's got the advantage 70% times every time he's going. So we're gonna see what can make work. But the fact that early kill on that maybe gives him a little bit of advantage. I mean, he's barely ahead of Oheb right now. But just gonna help him stay in that lane a little bit longer. But still, just like Brusco's really aggressive on this Cho, man. Like, is that the game plan for him the whole game?
Oh, definitely. He should be. He's up against a Matilda. He can't allow JP to set the tempo. So Brusco's just playing it with aggression. Good thing ONIC Philippines are going. They're not just letting him and alone. So it's always Kirk is nearby, especially when the turtle was down to the bottom. And even though there's not anything that's good, allowing the roamer to be aggressive to back up.
Okay, right now, Turtle Cutter. See how Brio decides to go with it, but on the bottom, for now, it's Sanford. No, I don't think he'll do too much. But Turtle's up next here. On TLPH, they might be trying to clear.
Brusco knows that there might be more than just Carl Teasy in that brush. Sanji wings out. Carl Teasy sandwiched by 3 from the Super Fam. Sanford pushing King Kong out. A little too low. The Signature quits. Okay, the positioning wasn't good. They both now the good to Super Prince in that middle shrub. Kirk is here as well. It looks good for Liquid. They can contest, but they gotta be good. That's why 1,001 lead.
Well, right now, both junglers on the other side of the making his way. Kong gets Orange, but right now, a standstill for this. Focus here. Zone there. Just walk up against Sanji and try to force something out. Brusco, though.
Like by Sanji. Push out for Prince and the Bruiser. There we go. Liquid burst that turn down. Wonder for the cavalry. For the macro instead, they got the tower in the lane. I think they're going to make a big play for the center of the map because they want the map control instead. They knew that if they decided to push towers instead. And see how they get on Kelra.
The great go so this is going to matter. Oh! He wants to set up for. Oh!
What is Kirk doing? Just crossing over from back like that. Doesn't
That's why, because he's on glue. Yeah. He's been playing like that for
the flicker kick! Oh, the pullback! Not going to be enough. Oheb gets taken down. The Venom airstrike. The reaction from Liquid taking out King Kong 1-for-1. That's a core for core. Gold for jungler. What a kick though by Brusco. Cross not done. Look at the back line. Gets dunked on. Finds that grab underneath.
Everybody's there, especially with Matilda in play.
Yeah, jump out of that fight like deep. Get my money, I'm good. That he remembered that he could just let go of the grab way under the tower. Great little play there, sequenced by Sanford and JP to actually think of that possibility. As we look at the items, not with dominance, Ice, so we built a solid perk, so we have while for Sanford yet, and also dominance. Gets taken down. Gallivanting all over the map. By the full King Kong's working a little.
He's been doing this. His gun to Lord in just a second.
Oheb gets hit. Taken out. Shutting down. Now friends up next. JP. Kirk is back. Further plans here. King Kong looking to punish. Not grab my FP there. Just keeps on fighting. Phantom execution very low. Still on exchange. Team Liquid Philippines. Shield 13. There's an expert. ONIC made the wrong. Team Liquid to tank.
All decisions. They'll bring up this point. Are they going to play this or stop? They don't have jungler. There's a lot happening. Bruce goes into
the dance. Let's secure the door. Just the jiffy. And not easy. Kirk. Red. Looking to grab the turret. Slow rolling. Friends from out.
Can we just take over for the past 4 minutes?
Very clear on the map because they know they're so strong. Playing 4 and 5 man with the guiding hand on point. Shields able to dish out so far at the first time that we think got an extra just little basic attack. Either Brusco or Kelra will finish off. Suddenly people are set up at the flank. Hope slowly pushing following to pushing through mid down.
They take more too. They get a tier 2. Down for the first down with TLPH in charge of this game. This all needs to happen. King Kong really has to do the whole side of the map.
Very good gold. Department though, that is a sign for that means he just a little bit more time. As he's engaged go on Queens, thinking, hey, we're going to start earlier in the fight. He's going longer taking care of Kelra because Team Liquid do a great job of finding his access to the back line late into the just when I'm a keep the box.
That's one of the problems. Seems like there's the utility and build one of has is cool. Kelra shooter. You have a couple options to really have to be able to maneuver around these team fights, but you can watch on the other side that angle that come from is enough to
look at the total babies they have. They got Super Ins and Kirk are dealing for themselves as well, but the Sanford are the items them off of the greater though, or the for let's have the GDS, so it's a problem. There's more moves for
still, your Lord's coming. I'm wondering if you guys do this because the majority of this one, King's right pushing on objective. Do we actually approach it?
You want that Kelra, your main dash Kelra, but he's fighting Kong. So they're to find the winning fight for the past.
Okay, maybe that can, that's to do. Kind of left to wins that. It's just engage. Feels like he's just trying to find the fully and let him go. Reed comes there.
Oh Lord! Bruce by oh my God! Down. Camera. And this might have been all the Aquan or it or
Kirk back in. It was the objective goes to TLPH. Let's move from Carl.
Sanji, the Carl went to make a right call and all for the only doing that.
Going to allow him to get to that Lord. That's what helped them before you know it. ONIC the blonde lose the more space. You're taking out the LP can move still as they have this pressure. Sanford
Liquid the stock ONIC pure pro. 5 minutes on here. It's clear that Liquid learned that it's not all done anymore. There's more tradables. Not to make it for time struck. We did things, but Liquid just seems to have work. Coming off of that where they do expect the long and digital that they want to back in M4 and he's staying the jungle for you and go for a lot of these people say they quality. They're somewhat lacking that quality. They are just wars fights, so and if you that way, then who are we to take?
Yeah, sometimes so
Sanji, look at where he grabbed enough onto the apex. Go up to the man down. Look at all the more difficult.
This thing has done damage to pretty much all the Savant. He just got the first things away. So depending on it just seems like This is why we see Bruce. You know, he's one of the struggling halfway position. You get a kick, but then you even fuck.
Unacceptable. That's safe thing. Even more. How does it speed? This is objective. Even before the takes all right now. Line King comes to the force. Back line. Couldn't be super right.
It was not the right time to jump in. It'll work on TLPH and take on the here. We'll have to shot.
Right.
The right time to get it. Over the freaking long and ONIC in a very uncomfortable spot. All the rest don't have to deal with it. It's way too much. It's slowly turning and be
so here. They must have scored. He's involved.
This one's TLPH of what stand they're getting ready to stand into a victory. This one is hardly ahead. Okay, it doesn't seem like Gogan's going to answer. How looking at the so.
You see the he's barely had to Carl Beatty and touch the front of the down. With the hurts, I stop basing you. Wait now. I'm being
even guys are much more powerful in a little bit of mouthpiece with straight to TLPH. How is here? So then engage. Even from side will go and target the pit. Looking for him.
The four push on the track. One touches him. He's side. On space. Put it up. Look at him. That's what happened. Hanford. Oh, the workout.
They're able to put in Kelly back, and that's it for TLPH.
strike. King Kong gets sent down to the high. When the Brian Lewis has already continued there. So on the Maggie is there. I think the head to
Sanji was somewhere high. Then maybe they get hit.
Yeah, this is story I mentioned. If you get Sandy, you have really close to get to him when he's just on the back. And if you can win, I'm saying like, is that to penetrate through? You can't be from the
dunked on by that was more twashed.
Position here with Kirkle. I feel like
Go has got from here to your bush.
Did support anything his needs him to be. Whereas the skills, the police needs to play. He's going to be that much problem. So well in the last 2 minutes. He can be down.
Look at that. And the base is one.
Raise the forward. Team Hamilton. I ride. I shape the
miles.
Swept the upper hit first. Team is first game in a while. But it's not
and speaking of the game, was controlled for Team Liquid. It's also where a lot of plays and a lot of changes. Especially after Steel, maybe have to give it guy. Maybe it has to go to
MVP. And you're out. Imagine getting 50 seconds to the with get 3 finals. Also getting point in that with push until the
really much for the game. Is somehow such have such a hard time on the chase. But we have birthdays this game. Is how different pieces for this game. And it doesn't necessarily be for because we even have rank just on the never been point. I think I get into the game that so that's very provide or take time. It's the other team really things happen. A like on attack has ability. They have to aim the items. He's one of these back and say like, oh, it's the team will be 20 fake on but he's not quite big. I think on the other very time fighter. He barely thinks about. He has a first one. He comes boost with those out. There are this on for back from that. Just the road he loads the this for that cancel one every time and never tell at the mid. Yeah, he got to head on the side even if we drop cap. And he's in wrong for 17 and he did it. He won with all happen. It's on sides. Look team it's kind of serious. Other had called together the counter focus on all that. He had this I will have the one Sanford one of the comes it's the planet carry the bigger thing the micro we were able to play one beats players and they also have that's why MVP having the reservation. Yeah, and this also like what you mentioned now was probably the biggest thing which tells us that this wasn't exactly the same as the kind of happening we saw yesterday.
Halo teman-teman, saya bentuk sebuah lingkaran, kemudian bentuk elips di bagian tengah lingkaran. Hapus bagian atas setengah lingkaran menggunakan shape tool. Drop keduanya. Dan beban. Klik artistik. Beri subscribe. Ubah posisi kanan menjadi kiri. Letakkan di atas piringan. Atur ukuran. Ketiga, buat bagian pegangan cangkirnya. Bentuk dan menggunakan display berada di freehand tool. Klik artistik. Atur ukurannya. Group object group. Atur ukurannya. Letakkan di bagian tengah. Setelah itu, buat bentuk lingkaran di bagian tengah. Hapus sebagian. Beri artistik. Hapus, klik objek, dan jadikan group. Untuk menjadikan group, kita klik objek, group, objek. Atur ukurannya. letakkan di bagian tengah. Setelah itu, buat bentuk lingkaran. Di bagian tengah. Hapus sebagian. Beri artistik. Ubah posisi. Dan letakkan di bagian tengah. Buat lagi bentuk lingkaran. Hapus sebagian. Klik artistik. Brush stroke. Pilihan titik-titik. Pokoknya. Hapus sebagian. Klik artistik. Brush stroke. Pilihan titik-titik. Ukurannya. Pilihan titik-titik. Atur ukurannya. posisikan. Setelah itu, kita tulis namanya di sini menggunakan text tool. Ubah fontnya menjadi Rockwell dan ukurannya 70. Dua. Setelah itu, kita tulis namanya di sini menggunakan text tool. Rockwell dan ukurannya 22. Katakan bagian setelah itu buat di sisi bawah. Jika sudah seperti ini, kita bisa ubah background colornya. Klik tools, option, background, ubah jadi solid. Kita pilih warna. Background, ubah menjadi solid. Kita pilih warnanya. Light. Ukurannya. Jadi solid. Kita pilih warnanya. Yang. Terima kasih. Oke. Dan seperti inilah hasilnya.